Hello everybody, I just wanted to give you a spring update. This is April 2nd, 2020 at Sweet Mandolyns Urban Farm with edible landscaping. Getting a lot done past the month, mostly working on the RV lot area, getting that food forest established and getting fencing put up. But we're going to do this as part one. This is going to be the front yard only to show you what we've got, and we'll start off with this tree right here. This is going to be one of my landscape trees. It's going to be a car stopper in the future with the Royal Poinciana, and it's beautiful red flowers when it blooms, but it's just now waking up because it's tropical. You can see all the new growth on it. It's going to be all these big fern-like leaves on it, and Yopon holly looks really good. I just gave them all a haircut in my entryway here. We got a chip drop about a month ago. It's been sitting there composting, so now that it's cooled down, it's becoming nice mulch for moving around and adding to my landscape. The flower garden is starting to really pop with snapdragons, which are almost done. The dahlias are blooming, those giant mammoth flowers. Look at the size of these flowers. Some daisies and daylilies that are coming up. They haven't bloomed yet. Canna that I cut back in front of the window there, that's all coming back, thriving. Some nasturtiums coming up, some more daisies and lavender. I always plant a lot of nitrogen fixers in front of my trees, so there's some fava beans in front of my pluery. No, it's not a pluery, it's a pluot. Cross between a plum and an apricot. This is the Florida Prince peach. As you can see, it's got some peaches. It's in its second year. Of course, when I planted it, it had peaches, and I had to sacrifice them all so it can grow its roots. And this is all fava beans surrounded by my other Royal Poinciana with the rare yellow flower, and it's just now starting to wake up because these things like the heat, they don't like the cold. So when it got down to 30 degrees back in January, they lost all their leaves, but they're coming back. And I got all these fava beans to harvest right now. Tons of fava beans in here. Lots of high protein food. All these stalks are just loaded with fava beans. Over here on the west side of my house, you can see I put this welded wire T-post fence up, and that's going to be for my passion fruit vines. I'll show you in a second. And pecan is just barely starting to wake up. You can see the new leaves coming out on there. It's one of my last things to wake up is my pecan. I think I might get another variety of pecan next year and plant it right next to them and probably try to graft them together. This hasn't really woken up yet. This is the Jamaican cherry. Just barely starting to get some baby leaves on it. These things thrive in heat. Delicious tropical cherries. There's Thai basil coming back, and there's the Valencia orange. Been getting lots of blossoms. You can even see fruit development. The bees are at work. Had to put all the new wood chips in here, but wherever you see a divot with some compost or mulch, then that's where I got some seeds planted. I think I put some okra seeds in there. There's some more fava beans next to the Santa Rosa plum. That's barely starting to wake up. One of my last things to wake up is the plum. This is a yellow passion fruit that's going to be vining. It's getting some shade from the orange tree, and I'm providing some afternoon shade with that tile right now until it gets established and starts vining. It'll vine over to the fence and vine along the fence to join the other one. This is amber, the early amber peach. Doesn't have a whole lot of peaches, but I did see a couple. There's a couple down there. There's one there. Just got a couple right now this year, still young. My artichoke shading the trunk of my lime, which was getting some sun damage, but it's actually got a couple limes on there. More Okinawa purple sweet potatoes as my green mulch, which is hiding the trunk of my lemon tree that's blossoming like crazy. This is the Meyer lemon. Been harvesting some green onions. And there's the other passion fruit, the purple passion fruit that I started from a cutting last April. Got it to root, planted it over here in November, and it's starting to vine on this fence now. It should go at least halfway down and then meet with the other one. This is the Anna apple, and you can see tons of apples. Getting lots of apples on this tree. This one's loaded with apples. And it's right next to Dory, my golden Dorset apple. And she's got a few apples. Not as many as the Anna, but she's getting them. And I got a few elderberry planted. There's an elderberry. It's the Adams elderberry. There's the moringa that I cut back to 12 feet, and it's started to bush out now and provide shade for my banana that I cut back. You can see where I cut it. It's already got 3 new leaves coming out of it. And back there's my Mandy mango in its 2nd year. I started that from a seed. And these right here are volunteers that came up from my ground cherries. They call them Cape gooseberries. There's these little they kind of grow like a tomatillo. They got the husk around them. I want to give a shout out to Diana from Garden Love over in California, because she and her daughter Lily really like these. We're always talking about them. I'm growing them here from seed, because these all came up by themselves, and I'm hoping, because of the climate, that when those seeds dropped, the DNA was stored in them about our climate, and so these will be better off than the ones last year. Of course, I got a late start last year, so they had to deal with our 110-degree days here in Phoenix. But they're already getting these berries on them in the beginning of April, so before it gets hot, I should be able to have some fruit in season for Phoenix, not have to wait until the plants are about ready to die from the heat. But I'll have a microclimate. These will have full sun, but the ones in the shade will last a little bit longer. They'll probably be thriving until about July. Over here on the east side of my house with this giant sisal that I'm using as a microclimate. I got a lot of tropicals under there. Eventually I'll have to get a landscaping company to come cut down the tree on the height and the width to open up some sunlight here, but I don't want to have any intense sun until this stuff gets more established. The guava here, the Taiwanese white guava, is doing really good. Lots of fruit developing. Lots of new growth. And this is my wonderful pomegranate, which is blooming. So I should be getting some pomegranates developing on this already. This is the ruby red pink guava. Lots of new growth on that. I see some fruit developing. Some blooms. This is my Suriname cherry hedge that I'm growing over here. Lots of new growth on these. It's right next to my herb garden. You see, I got some basil. That was from last year that came back. My kohlrabi is about done. I've been just using it as a chop and drop. This is my coconut cream mango. You can see the blooms on here. It's not really ready to hold fruit because it's still got a weak support system. So after they flower, I'll probably have to take any fruit that develop off until I get these trunks more established to hold the weight of fruit. Same way with the ice cream mango. But they really like it under here. They get the full morning sun. As the sun's going down, they get some sun through there on the west side. But they're getting established here. Over here I got a volunteer tomato. I don't even know what kind of tomato it is, but you know, from my kitchen scraps that I plant out, it came up, so I let it grow. We got the little seedlings here just popping up. I put some seeds for some fennel to go along with the herb garden, which has the basil, and there's some oregano and some sage, and got some leeks planted over here. This is all peppermint. I gotta go through here because these things are so invasive. I gotta go through here all the time and pull it out, just keep it where I want it. So I use a lot of the new growth that's invading other things like my oregano as a chop and drop. Here's the Barbados cherry. Didn't lose any leaves during the winter because I didn't get any frost damage because of the underneath the sisal tree. So these things should be getting ready to flower. Hopefully I'll get some fruit this year. This is my pomegranate hedge. This is my Eastern Europe variety of pomegranate. So I'm going to just keep these as a 7-foot hedge right here. And this is my cassava coming back. Of course it loves the heat. Hopefully by the end of summer I can harvest those yucca roots down there. Another Barbados cherry that I had as a seedling last year. Right there, it's thriving right next to the verbena. Hopefully that will be getting taller this year so I can cover this corner in Barbados cherry growth. So that's the end of part 1 of my front yard of Sweet Mandolyns Urban Farm edible landscaping. Have a good day.